Hey, Big HappiDaze here. In today's video, we are wrapping up this four-part Sugofest structure here with the last legend of the batch, that being the awesome robot Emet. Probably my second favorite character I was hoping would come out for this event, so super happy to see him on this Sugofest. Just hope he's going to be really good. So let's get into it, see what he can actually do here. So first, that's a pretty sick artwork right there. I do love that. Just punching the elders, like boom, there we go. So love that artwork off the bat. So he is a powerhouse and free spirit unit. Looks like he's gonna have a lot of good synergy just because of powerhouse and free spirit. So hopefully be able to slot him into a lot of different teams there. He does have a super tandem, so that's interesting. He has a super type as well. So yeah, pretty promising so far, but let's see what he can actually do. So the key points is he has a super tandem. We already knew that. He changes int to super int. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then he has a captive ability where if Luffy's on the crew and he's special, basically you nullify any damage over 1,000, nullify all attacks, activate the HP card of 100% for one turn. So what's interesting is usually when they have this mechanic out there, it's because they have a Sugo rush that's going to be on there, right? Which is why you really need the HP guard. I mean, yeah, it can get around things like burn damage and things like that, but typically it's used to do rushes. So none of the batch has a rush, so that is a little bit interesting. But yeah, we'll have to see if maybe he synergizes with some other unit. So as mentioned, he has int powerhouse free spirit. His special, Haki for when the time is right. So reduces the duration of all enemy barriers by 3 turns. That's fantastic. Not a ton of characters can remove enemy barriers by more than 2 turns, so it was always great to have another option there. Reduces all enemies' resilience by 7. That's not bad. Like I said, now there's a lot of ways to get around this resilience, so it's not as big of a deal as it was when that buff first came to the game. It's a lot easier with supports now to get rid of that, so still great to have that. Won't complain, but that's just kind of a nice to have there. If a special is active and the crew is set in a set chain multiplier state, okay, so you have to have set chain multiplier active, boost int, strength type, and powerhouse free spirit in class characters chain multiplier growth rate by 0.8 for 2 turns. So that's interesting. Like not a lot of characters have this chain multiplier growth rate. So it's kind of interesting that they put it on him. So yeah, that's definitely interesting. Usually you see like what you saw with some of the other characters, right? You usually get chain minimums or set chains, but hey, it's interesting that you at least get the growth rate there. So that'll be cool. And then after that, reduces the crew's set chain multiplier duration by 4 turns. Yeah, that could be helpful, I guess, if you get a chain debuff there. So yeah, that's pretty okay, right? But that means that if you have basically any chain multiplier that goes past those 2 turns, it's pretty much going to get rid of it here after those 2 turns. So that's kind of a bummer there. You're kind of trading one buff for another. But I guess that kind of is what it is for getting that chain growth rate up there. He also allows the crew's attack boost when a special is activated to be further increased up to 2 times. So that is okay. Obviously, a stackable attack boost is better, but just letting it be able to get like a 0.5 increase or a 0.25, depending on what units you have, is okay. It's respectable, I guess. But yeah, it would have been nicer to see ways to have just further stacking. And if the crew ends 3 perfect strikes in a row in this turn, boost their attack by 2.25, and you can freely swap slots 2 times for 1 turn. So that's nice. You get 3 perfects. You get an attack boost the next turn. So yeah, not terrible. Yeah. So let's see what else he can do here. So when 4 or more mythical zone type or egghead arc are on the crew, further boost the crew's chain multiplier growth rate by 0.2. So it was 0.8 before. Now we'll go up to basically a 1, a +1 to the chain multiplier. So that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how much damage you can actually do. As I said, I could see you having to use this guy a lot with Kuma or Saturn, right, to do some of this chain gimmicks and shenanigans, just to kind of get the highest chain you can possibly get, which is great for this content. But typically the content they make for these events, like, you don't need like a crazy like 15 time multiplier to beat the content, right? Usually just the base up to 4, 5, 6 is more than enough to kind of get through a lot of the bosses that are there. So interesting that they're very focused on the chain multiplier for some of these characters. But again, like the increase or the buff to the chain growth rate, it's just okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. So let's see if his captain ability makes up for that. So the Feeling of Resurrection reduces crew special charge time by 2 turns, so that's good. You get a 5.5 times attack, HP 1.25. A little disappointing when all the other legends are 6 times, that he only gets a 5.5 times. But I guess it is what it is. If they use a special to activate the set chain multiplier effect, extends the duration by 3 turns. Okay, so that'll help out with the 4 turns that you get lost there. So I guess it's that will definitely help out there. So let's say you have like a 3-turn set chain multiplier that will go to 6 turns. So that'll just give you a lot of help to have to not worry about that debuff after those 2 turns of getting -4 to the set chain multiplier. So that part is good and helpful that he has a way to kind of counter that a little bit in his captain ability. Also, when the crew is in a set chain multiplier state, boost that effect by 0.5, so just giving more boost to the set chain. That's always good. If Monkey D. Luffy is a crewmate and uses a special, delays the attack of all enemies by 1 turn, ignoring immunity, and reduces all enemies' beneficial effects by 1 turn. That's pretty good. It's interesting that they want Luffy as a crewmate, so I'm wondering if for this Blitz battle or whatever events they're going to have here, they're going to have you have one Luffy captain as... Actually, no, you can't do that because in order to have the Monkey D. Luffy in your crew, you'd have to have them as the friend captain, have this guy as your captain, but then you lose a little bit of stuff there. So it's interesting that they kind of almost set him up where you want Luffy to be a crewmate, but Luffy is obviously the better captain, right? So that's kind of interesting there. Also, if Monkey D. Luffy is on the crew as well, you can apply an effect to each enemy to reduce damage taken over 1,000 by 100%, nullify all attacks, get the HP guard. That was what was talked about in his in the red text up above there, so nothing kind of too crazy. And then the following effects are activated based on the crew's character tag. So it gives an additional 1.5 times HP. That's pretty good because you already get the 1.2. So you get a little more HP there. And then if 4 more Egghead art characters on the crew, you get a damage reduction of 25%, which is good, just helps with tankiness, and reduces damage from bomb and super bomb slots to the crew by 90%. This is a really bizarre condition, right? Because how often are you going to have units on your team that are giving you bomb and super bomb slots? Granted, it might be there for this content, for the event that goes on with this, but kind of weird that it takes out this bomb and super bomb damage there. So we'll have to see what that's about when some of the events get announced. In terms of the crewmate ability, this character cannot be blown away. That's pretty good. And you just get a little bit of base stats, and then completely evades, removes sound effects. That's really good. It's always great to have units that can kind of avoid that themselves. And you get tandem slots that have matching slot effects. So not a bad crewmate ability. Pretty normal, straight down the road. But avoiding the remove effects is pretty good there. In terms of his super tandem boost, so the activation requirement, so basically you only have to activate super tandem with one of these types, which should be pretty easy to do, which is good. So it should be pretty easy to trigger this super tandem boost. You get the boost level up to 4 for Scientist and Egghead. Zone and Straw Hats get it up to 5 for 1 turn. So again, like it's okay. It's just an additional attack buff there. I don't know if people are going to really waste super tandem tablets based on how rare they are in the game. I probably wouldn't waste it to level up the super tandem, but it's interesting that they have that, just so if you pull a couple duplicate copies, you can always get that up a little bit closer to that level 5. He also does have a super type, so the activation requirement for that is when the crew's normal attacks have the ability to deal damage, ignoring all defensive effects. So that's the ability from the Luffy Bonnie unit, basically. Or when Monkey D. Luffy is on the crew. So again, it's really easy to trigger both of those conditions, or either one of those conditions, I should say. Then basically you get Super Int, you get a free Spirit class territory, which is good. You change just this character's slots to tandem, and then you give a slot boost of 0.4, so that will help obviously with Saturn if you have him, and you use the special after you use his special. And this character's normal attack has the ability to deal damage ignoring all defense effects for 1 turn. So super type is okay. I think the biggest benefit of this super type is really probably just the ability to apply the free spirit class territory. Everything else is just kind of okay. Nothing kind of too broken outside of there, but the territory will give you just a bunch more damage there that you wouldn't get otherwise. In terms of support effects, so you go on any Egghead art character, when you use a special, you get the set chain multiplier effect. Then you reduce damage by 40%. So if the character this is on launches a special to activate the set chain multiplier, the damage gets reduced by 40%. It's okay. Maybe. I can't imagine a ton of scenarios where you're going to be using this guy for that support effect. But yeah, I guess it's just nice to have there. Favorite part now, Rumble. Let's see what he can do. So he has a pretty high CT at 29. So this is special. So when Monkey D. Luffy is on the team, he gives himself an attack up level 6, so that's good. Again, just pooping on the 5 elders here. Targets 5 elders enemies for defense down level 6. That's awesome. Targets enemies within a large range for attack times 20. Okay, that's pretty good. So assuming that there's 5 characters out there, you do attack times 4 to all those characters. And then during Assault Rumble, I hate when it gives Assault Rumble only abilities, but during Assault Rumble, target self-restore HP, healing, and defense up level 6. So, yeah, if you do Assault Rumble, you're probably going to want to get this guy to help just give a lot of survivability there for himself when going through Rumble. But yeah, that 20 times damage is pretty awesome. Not gonna lie, that's pretty good. Rumble super special, right? So he has a super special. That's good. Love to see that. So let's talk about his super special. So after an enemy uses a Rumble special 2 times, which shouldn't be too hard to get, especially if you have a enemy who does attacks spread across the whole group, and all the kind of newer legends that are coming out have that ability. So it should be pretty easy to start triggering these conditions going forward. So when Monkey D. Luffy is on the team, targets Int type and Free Spirit class teammates for attack up level 10. That's really good for 30 seconds. That's just a bunch of attack boosts. Targets the 5 elders enemy for more defense down level 8. Again, that's fantastic in terms of just getting them ready to die. Targets enemies within a large range for attack times 30. Wow. Yeah, that's quite the that's quite the attack there. 30 instead of the 20 that you get up here is really awesome there. So yeah, that means that pretty much you're going to attack times 6 if you have a full board of enemies out there. Really good. And then during Assault Rumble, targets Int, Type, and Free Spirit class teammates for HP healing. So that's good. Instead of just doing it for just himself, he'll actually give the whole Int Free Spirit team healing, which is just going to help you survive longer, do more damage in Assault Rumble. So yeah, I mean, overall, and he also has a roam ability too. So let's just talk about that real quick. So targets Int Type Free Spirit class teammates for just a bunch of buffs up here. HP and defense are really good. Like to see that. And then if Luffy is on the team, targets Free Spirit classmates for additional attack and speed up. So yeah, you just get a bunch of level 6 buffs to your attacks if you have Luffy on the team and you have an Int Type or Free Spirit on there. So this guy's going to work really well, I think, with Luffy, just kind of helping him just get just a ton of damage onto his attack. Again, he does, Luffy, I believe, does the 20,000 spread damage and attack times 5. So yeah, once you start getting, attack ups that are in the double digits, you're going to be hitting for a ton of damage. So yeah, he's gonna be one of Luffy's best friends, I think, on the PvP team. He doesn't have any GP burst stuff, so obviously this is probably out of the 4 the one that they probably focus on the least, since they give him any GP burst abilities. So he's just gonna be used exclusively on Rumble. So that being said, if I had to kind of rank what I thought the different units were of this New Year Sugo, I think you definitely want to pull for the Luffy unit that's there. I think he just is the best out of the batch. After that, I would probably place I would probably place this guy maybe second. I have a tough time saying, is he better than Saturn? Is he not better than Saturn? Just because they kind of do different stuff, right? He does a little bit helping with the chain, getting that up there, helping it get high. Whereas Saturn is much more focused on the slot effects or the other type effects, right? And making you just do that much more damage and those things. So I think Saturn is a little bit better on the PvP side, but this guy will just help you go absolutely bonkers with Luffy to do the most damage that you can with him on your team. So, like I said, I think my ranking right now is probably going to be Bonnie and Luffy, Emet and Saturn probably tied for second, and I would say Kuma in tied for third. Now, granted, what's tricky here is that Kuma is really, I think, critical for the PvP ability of the Bonnie and Luffy, right? Because his ability to give those rainbow slots at the beginning of the event as a crewmate, and the fact that that Bonnie and Luffy end up making your slots locked when you first enter the quest, right? Means you can have basically 10 turns of rainbow orbs, which is just an insane amount of damage for PvE. So taking it all together, though, I still think I would probably put Kuma at the bottom, though. Like I said, he might see some play down the road. But that's gonna wrap it up for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you like this character and what your ranking is for all these New Year's legends. As always, until next time, be kind to each other. Thanks.